Morning. Morning, people. Morning, how are we all today? These a wee second or two to get on board. It appears that viewing figures are down a little. We're having to rebuild the audience. But to be fair, I'm not getting to see all the people who are watching the stream because the stream's split. So I really don't know how big the audience is anymore. Anyway, good morning. Sandra, Hugh, Gerard, Rev of Wrestling, Jim Campbell. Good morning, Jim. Numbers are climbing nicely now. John Kennedy, David, can you and me as friends? Jesus. Can I try get you in as a friend, John? I'll have a look, mate. Right now, I'm about to start the broadcast. We're almost at 100 people. Anyway, good morning, Last Braveheart, Fiona, Alistair, Lee, Thomas, Jim, Stephen. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to say, yeah, we managed to get up to the 100, and then we'll get this broadcast underway. Okie dokie, lots jumped nicely. Okay, that's us. According to my screen, we're up to the 100, so let's get this broadcast underway. It's Andy Truck Davey out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is a beautiful morning, 20 degrees, clear skies. All right, that's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. You want to know what the weather's like with you? Look out your rain, bloody windy. All right, this is the news review for the 9th of the 8th, 2022. Better known to you and me as yesterday. All right, Tuesday started with one major theme in the rags. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon calls for talks with the criminal cabal over the cost of living crisis. Also on Tuesday, as the FM calls for a meeting of the nations over the cost of living crisis, the outgoing Don of the Conservative Crime Syndicate publicly states he will leave any decisions on the cost of living crisis to the new boss of the criminal cabal. So no meeting with Miss Sturgeon or Mark Drakeford in the weeks to come. And, no action to be taken to alleviate the cost of living crisis, which is squeezing the United Kingdom. All right. Now, Tory Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi, where is he? He's posted missing in action. We'll get a wee bit more of him coming out and being posted missing in action later in the review. Okay, moving on. Tuesday. And a Airhead contender for number 10, Liz Truss, is giving Colin Inches in the rags to tell us that the failed state that is the UK has its best days in front of it. Wow. The UK's got its best days in front of it. October will see the public crushed under a weight of energy bills that they can't carry. Brexit means that we've got crops rotting in the bloody fields. That's no likely to get any better anytime soon. We've got food price inflation, fuel inflation, energy cost inflation. Mom and pa's skipping meals or eating the leftovers after children's plates so their children can eat. Granny's riding the bus to stay warm and has only got one meal a day. And for some reason, the idiot that is Truss thinks the UK's best days are in front of us. Brexit hasn't even fully fucking hit yet. Wow! If that's what we've got contending to into number 10, it's going to be worse than it was under the last cloud, Bojo. Man, unbloody believable. I mean, the UK's a failed state. Scotland's looking to bail out. It looks like Northern Ireland will be taking their option and all. Unfortunately for Wales, they don't have that bloody option, but I'm sure they can come to some arrangement as little England tries to take back control of the fuck all that it owns. Oofed. Right, Tuesday. And in England, hosepipe bans are a go-go. The stupid gits living down that road keep voting against their own interests, so their water utility companies have been privatised and the water infrastructure is failing. Also, the private water companies down that road, the profiteers, are pumping effluents into the water courses of England. So basically, their water's crap, they pay too much for it, and it's full of shit. Imagine the diseases that are coming back down that road this summer as it gets warmer and warmer and warmer. Wow. Anyway, to add insult to injury, the injury, the self-inflicted damage that the people down there have done to themselves. The water companies are asking, they're asking people not to use too much water in their gardens. So their infrastructure down there is failing because they sold it off, the stupid gits, voting against their own interests as usual, and their water courses are full of shit. That's the water courses the water company takes the water fee to pump it into their houses for them to drink. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. I really do believe that our friends south of the border have lost the plot. Their education system is definitely failing. People don't consistently vote against their own interests unless your education system's failing. Unbelievable. And they talk about our education system. Right, moving on, Tuesday, and it comes to light that checks on foreign nationals from 44 countries are scrapped. Right, the checks were to keep track of nationals from states considered a threat to the UK state security. It would appear that the evil one at the Home Office has decided not to take control of the UK's borders, but to just open them up and let foreign nationals from states considered to be a danger to the UK saunter around the UK. That includes the Chinese and the Russians, by the way. Willy-nilly. It would appear the evil one isn't taking back control on the borders. We've got dinghies landing on the south coast of, well, they've got dinghies landing on the south coast of England every week with thousands of people in it. So much for control. When we were in the EU, there was an agreement with the French, and these people didn't make it across. Now that we're out the EU, the French say, fuck it, I don't want them on my shores. Let them get in their own boats and go across the water. And that's what's happening. So rather than take back control with Brexit, absolute control has been lost of the UK borders. It's now one big smuggler's haven. They want our drugs and drug theft in that road is rocketing. It's easy to get drugs in. Nobody stopped any motors to check the bloody things. Wow, they can't protect the borders. Nationals from 44 states, which are considered to be of risk to the UK state, are roaming about inside the UK free, willy-nilly, to do what they want. This is nuts. So much for take back control. Mental. And while we're in the UK, that affects the security and the safety of the people of Scotland. The failings at the Home Office. Unbloody-believable. Right, so take back control just turned it into lost control, but we knew that would happen. The UK's failed state is also the UK as a failed state is also thanks to a criminal cabal down that road. It really is a cabal, a criminal cabal. And when I talk about them, the Dawn, they're vying to be the new Dawn of the crime syndicate. That's exactly what it is. It's two crooks vying to become the next head of the criminal cabal. Right, moving on, Tuesday back here in Scotland, and exam results for the school kids are out. The ATC pass rates from National 5s and Highers and Advanced Highers is at 78.9%, down from 87.3% in 2021, when the results were being based on ongoing assessments. Now, the return of traditional exams see more realistic results, and that's good news. Okay, now, in the last year that there was exams, the National 5s, Highers and Advanced Higher pass rates were at 74.9. They are now at 78.9. So as I predicted yesterday, we'd get more realistic exam results and we would still see progress in the Scottish education system. Because the last time there was traditional exams, 74.9% got ATC passes and the National 5s and Highers and Advanced Highers. And 2022, traditional exams are back and we've got a 4% increase in the performance from 2019. That's about right. That's probably about on the money. But it still shows that the Scottish education system is good and getting better. It might have come down 9 points for last year or whatever it is. Aye, 9 points for last year, as I say, but they were unrealistic. Doesn't matter what anybody says. They were guesstimates all based on teachers' assessments of ongoing work in the classroom. The exams, well, they're not perfect, but they give us a truer reflection on how they're doing. And the performance is up 4% on the last time we had traditional exams, which is, I think that's what I muted yesterday, was it no? Right, moving on. Tuesday, and the UK government makes it a submission to the Supreme Court over India Red 2. The Advocate General, Suella Braverman, submission is a short one. Ms. Braverman's submission says that a fictitious, non-existent constitution is reserved. So shut up, jocks, get back in your box. I think that will persuade the judges to rule something that doesn't exist as reserved, and that's exactly what they're going to do. By the way, the UK Supreme Court will rule that the non-existent constitution is preserved. That's nuts. The UK government making that submission, considering they've just changed their mind in public to tell us that it's no the constitution that's reserved, it's the Treaty of Union that's reserved. Wow. So they're moving the goalposts to cover all outcomes at the Supreme Court. Either the Supreme Court rules that it's the Constitution is reserved, or if it doesn't rule that, then the submission next for the UK government will be that the treaty itself is reserved, and only the English can change it. Isn't that mental? So apparently 2 people go into a treaty, an agreement, but only one person can change the agreement. Wow. Or only one side in that treaty or agreement can change the agreement. Never seen a contract like that in my puff. But hey ho, who am I? I'm just a truck driver. Anyway, so there you go. The UK government has made its submission to the Supreme Court. It's a short one. It's the Constitution is reserved. Even though you, I, and even they now exist, they now admit that the Constitution doesn't bloody well exist. Mental. Right, moving on. Tuesday, back here in Scotland. Well, no. Moving on. And the SNP Green Government shite story on Tuesday is the attainment gap. Prior to the pandemic, the attainment gap was closing, but because of the pandemic, it has risen again. This can be put down to the wealth inequality, and the most deprived areas had less access to online learning during the pandemic and the schools being shut, so the attainment gap is widened. The other thing that was pointed out in the report done by the City of Glasgow is that not just did the poor kids have less access to digital learning, it wasn't less access to devices, it was less access to the internet. But anyway, not just did they less access to digital learning, their parents were still going out to work, meaning there was nobody there to supervise and make sure that the kids were doing their digital learnings, because Granny and Grandpa haven't got a Scooby. So if the Wayne says, I don't know how to go on, there's a big chance that Granny couldn't go on either. So digital learning for the poor kids was out the window. So the attainment gap has widened again. No, unexpected, but it's a Scotland shite story. Pounding the education system. By the way, when we get a paper review, you can bet your ass that'll be where it's all about. I haven't looked. Right, so there you have it. Anyway, Leanne Maguire of Glasgow City Parents Groups also pointed out that the poorer kids didn't have access to digital and didn't have parental supervision to ensure that they were doing their digital learning. Right, moving on. Tuesday, and it's reported that Scotland has a shortage of monkeypox vaccine. There are currently 69 cases of monkeypox in Scotland, and that's up 2 cases in last week apparently. And monkeypox seems to be spreading through the gay male community. So homosexual males and healthcare workers are being prioritised for the vaccine. 69 cases. It doesn't seem that much at this point in time. I don't know much about monkeypox. I haven't looked into it. Anyway, out of the 69 cases that are in Scotland, only one person is female. And I believe that one person is a healthcare worker. Well, I'm not sure. So apparently we've got a shortage of monkeypox vaccine. We also have a shortage of people with monkeypox. There's 700 or 800 doses of the vaccine in Scotland. There's only 69 people with monkeypox. So I don't know where the figures on the shortage is coming from. And apparently the UK government's ordered 100,000 doses of this vaccine. Central procurement, so there'll be an 8.3% share of that comes to Scotland. Right, moving on, Tuesday. And the new boss at Ferguson Marine, David Tideman, says that the two ferries being built at the yard will be in service early next year. The MV Glen Sannox will be delivered to Calmac at the end of this year. We're going to see trials and be put to work at the beginning of next year. And the other hull, which is sitting there waiting to be started on, really, the hull built, but nothing else been done yet. Mr. Tideman says will be ready by the end of the year. Mr. Tideman's also confident that the upgraded, totally new facility at Ferguson Marine will win more ferry contracts from Calmac to keep the business ticking out. All right, and it is a great facility, you know. I mean, Davy's been up and down that road to Greenock in his truck for years, and Ferguson's was dilapidated. What you see when you pass that place now is brand new shipyard. It's a brand new shipyard, updated, modernised, the whole bloody lot. So it would appear that Ferguson's got a bright future in front here. And he was given room in the press to say it yesterday. All right. And moving on, Tuesday. Richie Rich and Liz Nice but Dim lock horns in a hustings in London. Sunak tells the Hunstons he's ready to help with the cost of living crisis. When asked about her plans for the cost of living crisis, Liz Truss said, "I'm no telling yous," in front of him. Meaning, Sunak, she didn't want to give away her policies to Mr. Sunak on the cost of living crisis in case he stole them, apparently. In other words, the airhead had nothing to say at the hustings. And nothing what is being done about this cost of living crisis. I haven't heard from my energy provider on how I'm getting this fucking 400 quid. If yous have, put it in the stream. Mental. Also, Tuesday, it's announced that the Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi and Business Minister Kwasi Kwarteng are to hold talks with the energy providers to discuss pricing in the market. The meeting will take place today, so it looks like Nadhim Zahawi, the new Chancellor, has broken cover, and he's going to go and have a talk with the energy giants and the energy providers, along with Kwasi Kwarteng, the Business Minister, to see what you can do about pricing in the energy market. So you can bet your boots by this time next week, we'll discover what they've done in the energy markets, basically give them free rein to do what they fucking want. So expect the prices to go up again in January, April, May, June, July, and then again in October. It's going to be a cycle that's going to go, and they're going to keep pumping us. All right. Moving on, Tuesday, and the press are starting to ask questions about opening public facilities to create warm spaces for those who can't afford to heat their homes this winter. My friend David and I are asking people to get in contact with their councils and community policing units to ensure that there's contingency funds in your area to have warm banks, they're calling them, opened up in things like community centres and libraries and things like that, so that people have got somewhere to go when they can't afford to heat their homes. Okay, the people will die this winter because of the profiteering in the market. The Ditch the Direct Debit campaign is also getting traction in the mainstream media. The energy generators are getting nervous. A report out from the Post Office, published by Bloomberg's website, also states that people are reverting to using cash to get control of their budgets. And Davy says, good, because that will spoke the wheel of the G7 finance ministers who want to take complete control of our money and tell us what we can and can't spend it on. So the idea that people are reverting to cash in order to be able to budget better in the cost of living crisis means the use of cash will go up, the use of zapping will go down. Now, zapping is all very convenient, folks, but it's no good for budgeting, because we'll forget about the £2-3 we zapped in a coffee, on a coffee and a sandwich. We'll forget about that £2-3. But by the end of the month, it's mounted up, and you go and get your bank statement. So, Jesus Christ, I thought I had more than that. So zapping, although it's convenient, does mean that people have got less control of their budgets. So people taking back control of their budgets by reverting to cash, as far as I'm concerned, is a good idea. Anyway, a report out for the Post Office published on Bloomberg's website says that people are reverting to cash to help them control their budget. So that's no bad. Yeah. Moving on, Tuesday. Where are we? Turn the page, David. Moving on, Tuesday, and 115,000 Royal Mail workers vote for 4-day strike action over August and September as pay talks with the Royal Mail ends with no resolution. The UK is heading towards a general strike. The Royal Mail, who is now privately owned, will probably hire agency workers to cover the strikes. Or they could do a P&O and sack them all and hire them back on worse terms and conditions. People will soon be desperate enough to go along with the deregulation of the labour markets, which is exactly what we're seeing, folks. And England is broke, and the UK is a failed state. Notice I said England's broke. I didn't say Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland was broke. I said England was broke. And the UK is a failed state. Are you yes yet? Because if you're no, there must be something wrong with you. Also Tuesday, another Home Office failure. Sham marriages in the post-Brexit regime. And post-Brexit, there's a regime that allows foreign nationals and their partners to remain if their partners are British citizens, right? But anyway, that led to a spat of sham marriages. They've detected 365 of these sham marriages, but the Home Office decided to ignore it. No one's been prosecuted and no one's been deported. So it would appear the Home Office as an entity, as an institution, or as a ministry has failed. It's failed altogether when it comes to taking back control. So much for Rwanda, not going to happen. So much for sending the immigrants back to France, not going to happen. So much for controlling who's within these borders when they've just scrapped checks on 44 states who are a danger or considered to be unfriendly towards the UK. They've just scrapped the checks on 44 countries and their nationals as they come through the UK and back for it in the UK. This is mental. The Home Office is a failed ministry under Priti Patel. Absolutely failed ministry. Take back control of the borders. They were told prior to Brexit, if they Brexited, they would need 50,000 new border and immigration officers. They didn't fucking hire any. We've now got Truss talking about hiring 20,000. The figure that was quoted and needed to secure the UK's borders, and remember we're on an island in the middle of the sea, was 50,000. More than what they're voting through. Mental. So, as I say, the Home Office is a failed institution now. It's time for Patel to get her bahookie booty out of there and probably put in jail for some of the stunts that she's pulled. Mental. Also Tuesday, down that road, Liz Truss says she'd vote to shut down investigations into whether Bojo misled the Commons. So what Truss is saying is, given the chance, she'll put it to a vote to have this. The committee that's looking into whether Boris Johnson misled the Commons or no, she would have that committee dismissed. Throw the case out. Lying, stealing, it's become normal down there. It's been normalised in Westminster. I mean, we know about the crooked PPE deals. I mean, Matt Hancock's pub landlord. Jesus Christ. He gets a contract to make medical veils for tests. Mental. And we know that the Supreme Court has ruled that the fast track VIP lane for contracts set up by the Tories was illegal. So stealing, lying, it's the norm. That Westminster is a broken institution altogether. We're just talking about the Home Office there and its failings. We can just take one look at Westminster and say it's failed. It's taken 800 years for them to realise that they don't know what they're fucking doing. Well, what they need to do down that road is get rid of the Crown, take the sovereignty for the Parliament into the hands of the people, and sack that shower of shite down that road. Then they can start again. One thing's for sure, they'll be starting without us. Because if the English want to sort the English out, they're going to have to do it themselves. And stop relying on everybody else to fucking sort out their messes. I mean, look at the Brexit mess. Apparently Europe's going to have to clean it up because Little Britain hasn't got a fucking clue what it's doing. Mental. Right, moving on. Tuesday, back here in Scotland, the FM tells the press that the fixing the Labour Party's no her job. She'll leave that mess to Starmer. The FM was being asked about her position on industrial actions, I believe. Anyway, it shows how biased the press are up here. You know, they're talking to the First Minister on any matter whatsoever, and they have to lever in a Britain that party into the talks. Now, they could be asking about health, education, whatever, and the Tories and the Labours will get, the Tory party and the Labour party will get mentioned. Even though these cuckoos in the nest have never once come up with an alternative or put a decent policy proposal in front of the people of Scotland, which would make them want to vote for the cuckoos in the nest. The only people voting for cuckoos in the nest are knuckle draggers, people too thick to pick up a manifesto and read it before going to the polls. Oofed. Anyway, so the First Minister, when they shoehorned Labour into the chat, she just got tore in about Starmer and said, it's his problem, it's his mess. And the thing about Starmer is nobody knows what he fucking stands for. Well, I do. He stands as the right red cheek of the establishment's arse. He's in the establishment's place, man. The clue is in the name. Sir Keir Starmer. Right, also Tuesday, Nadine Dorries is accused of waging a terrorist campaign against the committee looking into whether Bojo the Clown misled Parliament. Sir Bernard Jenkins, a senior Tory and member of the committee, says Ms Dorries is trying to undermine the members of the committee to delegitimise the committee's findings. Now, Nadine's no very bright, so I don't think Sir Bernard and his colleagues on the committee have anything to fear. But I tell you who does have something to fear, Bojo. Because see, when the motion was put before that Parliament by Starmer to convene a committee to see if Bojo had broken the ministerial code and misled Parliament, Starmer, being a legal ego, very, very cleverly worded it, and I read it. It says, did Bojo mislead Parliament? It doesn't say, did Bojo unknowingly mislead Parliament? Or unintentionally mislead Parliament? The question's simple. Did Bojo mislead Parliament? So that takes the unknowingly or unintentionally out of the equation. And this goes back to the Profumo case in 1963, I think it was. And then there was another precedent set in 1997, where the committee can take away the notion that it might have been done inadvertently and just look at the question of whether it was done at all. So that's it. You know, it doesn't matter whether Bojo did it intentionally or unintentionally. That's not what the committee's there to decide. The committee's there to decide whether he did it or no. And the other thing is, that could see him out of Parliament. No just out of number 10, but out of Parliament altogether. Talking about Starmer, didn't he break the ministerial code over his finance recently? No, it wasn't the ministerial code, it was the members' code of conduct, and yes, he did. He broke it 8 times, Stephen. But we'll put that up for people to see it. There you go. But yes. So the question of whether Bojo knowingly or unknowingly misled Parliament has been taken out of the equation here because of the clever way that Starmer passed worded the motion, which passed earlier this year unopposed. So it doesn't matter whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. Bojo's going to be found guilty. So Nadine Dorries is trying to put a stop to or undermine it. Right, and Liz Truss says if she was gets in number 10, she'll have a vote to have the committee cease working altogether. Right, where are we? Nadine Dorries. Okay. That's the stories I wanted to look at. I wanted to talk to you about for yesterday. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll have a wee look and see what the papers have to say. Now, I haven't looked yet this morning, but I can bet your boots it'll be Scottish education system shite in one way or another. Okie dokie, so let's have a wee look, shall we? Where are we? No, nearly turned the stream off. Here we go. Scotland's paper, Sturgeon accused of failing kids and fuel bills warning. There you go. So when will she be judged on education? Well, when she's finished as First Minister, and the way the voting's gone here in Scotland, it is not going to be for a long time yet. And as for when we should be judged on education, I've just explained that the education sector at this point in time is producing 4% more high grade or highly educated kids than what it was in 2019. We can't count 2020 and 2021. Didn't have traditional exam results. But there's a 4 percentage point improvement in where we were in 2019, the last time traditional exams were set. So if you want to judge your own education, there you go. It's there in percentage points for you to count our 2 years. Wow. Exams badge of shame as attainment gap grows. What a lot of bollocks. What a lot of bollocks. 78.9% of kids in Scotland passed the national fives, whatever the hell they are, and hires, and advanced hires, with A to C grades. 78.9%. That's brilliant. As for the attainment gap widening, man, that's a lot of crap and all. What happened was the attainment gap was lessening, and then we had the pandemic and kids weren't in school for a couple of years. And there was a report out, which I reported on yesterday, saying that kids can barely bloody speak because they haven't been socialised over the last couple of years. Their parents have been sitting in front of screens or they've been playing games or whatever, and their language skills are nowhere they're at. So the bollocks we're seeing in the press here, it's called gaslighting. Wow. Anyway, that was a Scotsman. The record has, you are failing our kids. What a lot of bollocks. Gap soars between rich and poor in return to school exams. Of course it does. Glasgow City Parents Group has just issued a report on it. We just spoke about it. Poor kids didn't have the access to bloody internet, and poor kids didn't have the supervision that the rich kids, whose parents were staying at home, got. Mental. Gaslighted right enough, eh? The Telegraph has poorest pupils see pass rates plummet. No, they didn't. 78.9. 78.9. That leaves 31.1% who didn't do as well as they thought they would do. At 31.1%. In fact, it's 21.1%. Too big a problem. 21.1%. Better get my maths right, I'll get myself into trouble here. An inflation stealth tax of 30 billion looms, says think tank. So, what's that all about? Can't read it too wee. Anyway, apparently their stealth taxes are going to move in. So they take basically they give you one take with the other. Let's take the fuel tax, the fuel, the energy bill relief we're getting. We're not getting it at all. It's going straight into the hands of the energy, the gougers. So they're taking money from the public purse and on it straight to their pals and the energy companies. Instead of getting a pen out and writing, you will not raise energy prices. End of story. That's all they had to do. Cap it. The Times has University blacklist harmful literature. And apparently they would like to blacklist some textbooks, 1,000 textbooks for universities. Wow. It's so much for freedom of thought and freedom of expression. Huh? The Metro goes on. Wake up, zombies. Consumer champ Martin Lewis says government must act over energy bills. He warns lives may be at risk as households face 4,200 charges. Maybe at risk. Maybe at risk. As if the Tories give a shite, but people will die this winter. People have been dying for the last 12 winters and before if cold. But you can bet your boots it'll be double the normal number. 3 times the normal number. 4 times the normal number. Anyway, Martin Lewis wants the zombies in government to wake up. Listen, they're deliberately ignoring the bloody thing. Trust softens on handouts over cost of living. Handouts? You're talking about giving us our money back rather than giving your fucking pals in the energy companies. Wow, handouts. These fuckers think it's their money. Well, the other thing is, they work for us. It's not the other way round. We don't fucking work to provide taxes for them to go in their vanity projects. We work to provide taxes for them to manage them properly to ensure that we prosper. Fucking idiots. That's what's wrong with people doing that road. They forgot what the fuck government's for. That's why they keep voting self-harm. Bunch of suicidal maniacs. The Scottish loony rag, the Daily Fields, Daily Express has, and Lisby Trust, oh for fuck's sake. Aye, maybe 160,000 white supremacists down that road might trust her. But nobody anywhere else trusts her, no in the regions, no in the nations. Just those in the home counties that are going to vote for her. The Herald has Scots already in fuel debt ahead of more steep rises. Tell us something we don't know. And joy and disappointment is how the Herald is portraying the exam results. And that's because they were good. They were really good. 78.9% of pupils passed with an ATC in fives, hires, and advanced hires. I don't know what a five is. Anyway, but that's good. Only 21.1% didn't get top marks. Brilliant. That's what you call a successful education system by any measure. Sunak's warning that and the other one in the Herald is, Sunak warns that if they vote and trust, the Tories will lose the next election. Tories won't lose the next election. Even if Labour win, Labour's not going to win it either. The Tories won't lose the next election. Labour will lose it. And apparently, Scots have amassed 86 million in debt to energy firms. That's just a fucking start, yeah. The energy companies will be nationalised shortly. You know why? Because nobody will afford to pay them, so they'll go bust. What else we got? The National has UK lodges its case against IndyRef with Supreme Court. The UK government clear view remains that a bill legislating for a referendum on independence would be outside the competence of the Scottish Parliament. We'll see. That's up for the judges. But I expect them to rule that anyway. I expect them to do what they did in the case where the Scottish government legislated to put the UN charters on the rights of children into Scots law, and the Supreme Court ruled that it was out with the Scottish government's competence because it meant the UK government would need to think about Scottish children when legislating. Fucking UK government should be thinking about children when legislating anyway, whether they're Scottish, English, Wales, or Northern Irish. So that ruling to the Supreme Court was a lot of bollocks, and what we're about to get from the Supreme Court will probably be a lot of bollocks too. Right, what's the star go for us? Gigs in Doc. There's never a time he didn't want sex. What? Who's interested in Giggs's sex life? Whatever it is he's done, jail the fucker, that's being into it. Well, everything's going on in the world, and the red tops are going on about a footballer who beat his wife up, I think it was. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative. That's just my take on what's going on. Not a lot going on, actually. It's all spin and gaslighting. That's it. Absolute bollocks. And as I said, the papers this morning having a go at the First Minister of record in education. Her record in education is exemplary, as shown in this year's exam results. And I'll tell you what, that pass rate might have been even higher if we'd had traditional exams for 2020 and 2021. Because as we can see by the measurement for 2019 and 2022, progress is being made. The amount of people receiving top marks is up by 4%. So 78.9% of all children taking the exams in Scotland got excellent exam results, AECs. And well done to them. And to have the press pillar our children's achievement this morning tells you everything that's wrong with our media. Scotland's shite. That's what our media is telling us. And they 78.9% of pupils who did excellent in yesterday's exams are being told today that their exam results are pish. That's why we need out of the UK. The British Broadcasting Corporation's job in Scotland is to belittle the people of Scotland, to undermine the confidence of the people of Scotland, so that the people of Scotland won't stand up and say, that's enough of your bollocks. Well, you know what? 78.9% of our children got excellent pass marks in their exams yesterday, and this morning they are being told their achievement is nothing as we watch the press hammer or tried to hammer the First Minister on her record in education. It's disgusting. In a speech outside the BBC, I told the BBC right to the building that they were detrimental to the mental health of the people of Scotland. And the people who work in that fucking building better get a grip, because independence is coming, and the excuse that you were only following orders isn't going to fucking wash when Davy comes for you. Because I will be filing cases against you fuckers. The BBC can be held responsible for probably half the suicides here in Scotland. The people get up every day to be told they're shite. Their country's shite. Their institutions are shite. Their politics is shite. Their education shite. Their health service is shite. Their police service is shite. Their ambulance service is shite. Fire and rescue is shite. Every day we are told we're shite. Repeatedly by the BBC. They are all complicit. Yes, they are, Gemma. They are all. And it really, it's why I do this programme, folks. Because it pains me to know that the people of my nation and of my community get up every day and we get told they're shite. I'm not having it. And that's why we do this show. So if you like what I do, folks, please share it to more people. All right, as we rebuild the audience as we go across 2 platforms. But as I say, the BBC in Scotland is detrimental to the mental health of the people of Scotland. Right, let's get to the usual stuff. There's a campaign underway. Okay, so partisan politics in your focus, get your eyes on the prize, learn your how you gonies, and get out there and win hearts and minds. We've got to convince the people against the might of the BBC that we're no shite, that we can. We don't need the broad shoulders of a bankrupt country next door which is siphoning our wealth and resources. Okay. And if they ask all the stupid questions and how you gonies, you just say, how the fuck does anybody else do it? We've got the highest educated population in Europe. We'll copy and paste best practices. All right. So, as I say, partisan politics are focus, eyes on the prize, get out there and win hearts and minds, because we're off. We're definitely leaving. They know it. We're at the Gandhi moment. Okay. Right, health message. No, sorry. Support under the independent media. Support independent bloggers and bloggers. Support Broadcasting Scotland, Independence Live, Indie Live Radio, Caledon Media, Cruise Radio. Support the national newspaper, as I say, and independent bloggers and bloggers. If they've got a crowdfunder going and you can afford to throw a few pennies in the pot, then please do. Okay. These people do good investigative work. All right. The health messaging. COVID numbers are dipping a wee bit, but no, not that much. In fact, I've seen a programme of mine for last year, and on this day last year, there was only 346 people in hospital with COVID. Today there is over 1,000. Last year there was no deaths. Today there will be 12 or 10. So we were in, we're just coming out of the last lockdown this time last year. Restrictions were easing. We're in a far worse position now than what we were then when it comes to hospitalisations and people dying. Okay. Right, so face masks in the closed public spaces, clean hand surfaces regularly. That's the last 2 pieces of guidance. Alright. Now, when it comes to social distancing, if you're not feeling well, mask up and social distance with people around about you. Show a wee bit of civic responsibility. Alright. And if you're still using NHS tests, please submit them to the results to the NHS to keep an eye on what's going on out there. Okay, now, a couple of other things before we go. Okay, ditch your direct debit. We'll tell you why we went through it. You can find our programme on YouTube. And remember, if you're in the North Lanarkshire, Glasgow, South Lanarkshire, and West Lothian areas, the Indie 2 Cafes charity night at the what's it called again? Okay, Club 100, I think it's called, down the road. No, it's changed by General Motors. The General Motors Social Club, down the road in Holy Town. Tickets available for 120 people. £10 a ticket. That includes buffet, and that includes raffle tickets and entertainment with Pete Scally, and I'll even do a wee turn if you want. Okay. Anyway, that's it for the day, folks. Look out for yourself. Look out for your friends and neighbours. and look after each other. Have a nice day.